Hello viewers and welcome. So today we are doing the GT World Series Manufacturers Cup, which will be quite interesting as I actually quite love the Manufacturers Cup, but this will be the first Manufacturer Cup I actually take seriously, as now it's more of a job for me as than a hobby, because I want to take this very seriously. As all of you know, I want to be a racing driver, and in order to be a racing driver I have to take stuff seriously instead of just playing it as a hobby. And now I'm quite good, but not good enough there, because I've now, since I'm competing on the full international level with the top of the world, I've seen that I need to improve quite a bunch. So now in the qualifier here, you can see me skipping 2 laps, as my first lap, the banker lap, was quite a horrible lap at 2:23. We go for my next lap, which is, oh wait, no, okay, my banker lap is a 2:09, but which is quite horrible. But now here's my qualifying lap, which you can see me quite flying. We're gonna go with this together through turn 2 as we speak. Very nice and tight line, a little bit of wheel spin. Now going into turn 3, keeping it nice and tight. Into turn 4, just braking a tiny bit, dipping on the brake pedal, making sure I get the extra rotation. And here again, braking just a tiny bit before the corner, getting the extra rotation. And here, riding the brake almost all the way through, up until I pass the apex. Then, here into this corner, you're gonna switch into 4th gear and kind of lug the engine all the way through. In order, you don't want to put too much speed too early, because that will just send you into the gravel. So now into turn 8, I believe, don't correct me if I'm wrong. Now it's turn 8, it's where I suffer mostly. Turn 8 and 10, that's mostly my weak point, as I'm quite awkward here when driving. So excuse if you see any silly mistakes, which could be a common theme of this video. I don't remember really, so we'll have to go through this together. And now through the hairpin, which is one of my main strong points actually, but in this lap I did not do it as good as I could. You can see I was purple somewhere. I think in sector 1 I was purple. In sector 2, not my best sector, so now I'm just under purple. And in sector 3, this is not my best sector, going through turn 12, I believe, 12 or 13. It's not my best sector, so I'm just taking it a little cautious, avoiding making any mistakes, because last lap where I had the 2:09, that's where I made my mistake, and I want to avoid that again. So now finishing on the last straight, the only couple of corners left is 1, 2, 3. So we got 130R and the chicane, and about that we'll purple through here, and now through 130R, making a tiny mistake going off wide, and I think that's what might have cost me the lap. And now going into the chicane, a little late on the brakes, tiny bit late, and that could have been what will lose me the first position. But we will see now, as the lap improved. The lap improved by half a second, and let's see what I do. I get a P3. 0.3 seconds behind P1. And now we can see P1, 2, 3, not very different driving style. All three of us have very different driving style. I mean, very similar driving style. And all three of us seem to be quite equally paced. P1 is a little faster than both of us, but that could be worked out, as he could have got lucky. And as you saw, I made 2 mistakes that could made me be P1. So we will see. I apologize about the microphone quality, I have a bit of technical issues. Now, doesn't that make you feel proud? Kinda makes me shake or have goosebumps going before the race. It's quite deep in the feelings. Anyway, now we got the starting grid. Well, we do not care about anything other than the top 5, so we'll go through the top 5 in very short. Now in the meantime, another apology, I'm quite late on my video. So P1 we got Goss Hampers, I have no idea who that is. P2 we got Bomb Stopper, some German driver, and P3 you got me, the best of all. It's Aki Sokudo. Now we got P4 Kenshin, quite an interesting name, and P5 Krishara. I have no idea, I probably said that name very wrong. Now if you're that big of a nerd, here is the rest of the people for you. I have no idea who these people are, and I have no idea what they could do in this race. I only know about the top 3 because this is who I know. Anyway, now getting the cars going and lining up. As we approach the line, the clock starts to tick. It's lights out and away we go, tucking immediately behind the Porsche, or the Porsche coming in my way for me to slipstream. Quite nice of you. I thank the German driver for that. I don't have to go around, and it seems like he needed to do that anyway, because you need that for the entry into turn 1. And it seems like the Porsche driver, well, two Porsche drivers, are quite similarly paced, and it seems like the best strategy for me is to let them fight it out. So I give him the bump draft, and I just sit back and let them fight, enjoy the battle, enjoy the view, enjoy everything as they consume both their brain capacity, tires and fuel, which do not matter in this race, but only brain capacity could have an effect. I just sit back and relax, knowing everything I need to do because I've done a race before, and hint hint, there could be rain. Anyway, you can see the Porsche driver is not quite there, so I might need to give him another bump draft, but we'll see about that as I make a tiny mistake going a little off, and you can see the Porsche driver catching to the other Porsche driver, I don't know what to call them, but drivers, Now I overtake the German driver, or no, the German driver overtakes the Porsche driver because the Porsche driver had a penalty. Okay, how many times am I getting this Porsche? Okay, we got the German driver and the Porsche driver. Okay, that's good. And now you can see the German driver and the Porsche driver are fighting. They're both in Porsches, I know, this is how I differentiate them. Now they're both fighting, and it could be what exactly I was hoping for me to eat popcorn and watch as they fight. And you can see me sitting back very nicely. They fight, they lose a bunch of time. Could be enough for me to slip in and take P2 for now. Now I have provisional P2, and I could even go into P1. So let's see what the Porsche driver has for us. Let's see if he's up for the task to stay in P1 after a little bit of a fiasco between him and the German driver. Now you can see the German driver is not very happy that I overtook, so he's trying to push me everywhere. He's trying to force me into a mistake, but you're gonna have to try more than that, because 1, I'm faster than you, 2, I'm better than you. And now you can see I'm so much good, I have overtook the Porsche driver, which seems to be in the pink T-Rex, which is only the green T-Rex is a good one. If you're not a green T-Rex, then you do not deserve to be a T-Rex. But anyway, the Porsche overtook again, so now I'm sitting in P2 again, and I'll be waiting for another opportunity to strike. I might even let the Porsche driver pass and not fight him too much, for them to go for another fiasco and for me to take another advantage, because again, I don't want to waste brain capacity, because this is a long race and it's an endurance and not a sprint. And in these long races, brain capacity is mainly what works, because I've done PSGL, my second race in PSGL, hint hint, it was horrible. By the first and second stint, not bad. I had good laps, good times, but by the third stint I have lost so much brain capacity fighting other drivers to the point where I forgot how to drive, so I made a lot of big mistakes, like big mistakes, spins, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, Porsche driver up ahead, I let him pass, he served the penalty, so it looks like I'm gonna pass him again. So into 130R, he defends the outside, and I don't want to make a mistake or get a penalty, so I kind of take it easy. Well, I do make a mistake, but it's not too big of a mistake, so exactly one lap later, I make the dive bomb, which was not very interesting, I mean not very legal, and now one lap later again, he goes back at me through the outside, sends it side by side, photo finish could be, well it's not a finish, but it could have been a photo finish. This was last lap, which is lap 7, and now we're racing all the way side by side into turn 1, which I'm ahead, but he's got the inside, which is very important. So now I go provisionally ahead, and now he's behind, and he's in the inside again, trying to overtake. But we'll see, I have the inside of next corner, so that's what I do. I take the inside, and he has pretty much zero chance of overtaking me here or anywhere else on track. Well, he does have the hairpin, but I'm not really that bad on the hairpin, because I mostly prioritize exit over fighting, so that's how I get everyone on the hairpin. Sim racer tactic. Anyway, you can see him trying to push me everywhere, and I'm just slowing him down a little bit. I'm just taking it at my own pace, eating popcorn. No need to push too hard, because I know I can catch up to the Porsche up ahead anytime I want, because hint hint, there's rain. This is the second time I say this. And now you can see the Porsche getting very close and personal. Could have overtaken this section, and it seems like he's gonna overtake, because this is my first weak point. I do a bit of wheel spin, and on the outside he goes slightly faster than me, he overtakes. But now into 130R, let's see what both of us could do, because right now I got the inside on my head, but on 130R, the inside is not particularly the best place you want to be. So now, see exactly what happens. Now I'm on the inside, now it's a switcheroo, because 130R you have to be on the outside to prioritize on the full entry and exit of the corner, which is a very interesting corner as it's quite fast. So now I go back into P3, and now looking at the Porsche's bumper once again, which I'm not going to be looking for long, at least I hope so. And now I'm chasing the Porsche into the pit straight or the main straight, and we can see we started lap 9, which I mean lap 8, which I think that's where you start seeing a bit of a drizzle of the rain in the final sector, or that very far sector, the two technical corners. As we go fighting side by side, going for a switcheroo, and now I'm back at him again in P3. That could have been P2, but again he went for a switcheroo, he had the inside. And now I'm just pushing hard because now we're kind of running out of time. We're past the halfway point, and we speed it up a little bit because see, the Porsche driver is quite faster than me in this section because I'm preserving my brain capacity. And now see, that's what I'm talking about, brain capacity. He used it all, made a mistake, and now I'm too. So that's why you have to think with your brain, you know, race smartly and not hard. Well, do both, it's better. But like, you know. Now again, here's lap 11, that's when the rain started to get quite heavy. And you can see I took that as a sign for me to pit, as you see both me and the driver up ahead, I could have sent an overtake there if I did not go a little wide on the exit. So now, both me and the Porsche up ahead realize the rain is going to be a bit of an issue. So I decide to do the educated decision of pitting, you know, changing the tires, not refueling because I got way more than enough. And I'm now going on the intermediate tires, the very interesting tires. The wet tires are not useful in this race, they're quite bad. You will never need the wet tires unless you're on the final lap of the race, the final bit of it, so you will not need the wet tires. It's only competitive in the final maybe 30 seconds of the race. Other than that, you will not need them. Now, I'm quite surprised I'm not sent all the way back to P6, but now I'm P4, so if I finish, at least I'll finish in P4. That's the worst that could happen, so let's see. None of the drivers had pit for the intermediate tires, which you can see, the intermediate tires as it stands, very uncompetitive. As you can see, this Porsche has made a joke out of me, but you can see it's not going to be that big of an issue when we approach Sector 3, which is quite rainy down there. It's getting quite moist down there, so you can see how uncompetitive the intermediate tires here, as you got 3 cars behind me and I'm defending like a bigot. I'm defending very interestingly, which is on the line of being legal, but no penalties, no sportsmanship, points deducted, so that's what I need. Anyway, now heading into the final sector, you can see the rain meter or the moisture meter going up bit by bit as we approach the very moist part of the track, which is now has become my favorite part of the track. So now you can see, taking it very easy, a bit of wheel spin, and you can see nobody else has the traction compared to me. The traction I have is pretty much unmatched to other drivers, and I've made already 10 seconds of P1 and P2. And now you can see skipping just 2 laps ahead. You can see brain capacity, Porsche driver again lost his brain capacity, and the Porsche driver, another Porsche driver, loses his brain capacity by not pitting and making a lot of squiggly lines, which is quite interesting. Bees can read that, not me. And now, after taking the overtakes, now on P1, I decide to see how much I can push it. So, you know, with a 24-second lead, a quite dominant lead over pretty much everyone else, I decide to round up the final corners of the race. Knowing that I'm dominant, this part of the track is where you will need the wet tires, but only on this lap on this part, which is quite literally never. And now you can see, taking my very proud win of the Gran Turismo World Series, I'm in the GT3 league, so could be better.